on multiple federal charges. And I'm just getting information right now, but I'm hoping to have some folks join me right now. I don't know if anybody could, hopefully I'm not having any kind of audio issues. Hey guys, let me know if you could hear me okay. I literally just threw everything together right now. Let me share with you what's been shared with me by my good friend, Rob. So this is a tweet. It is from Bianca Buono. Says, breaking. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office has announced the indictment of Laura Owens. Owens originally filed a lawsuit seeking child support from Clayton Eckert of The Bachelor, then dropped her claim, alleging she'd had a miscarriage. MCAO investigators found that Owens altered an ultrasound image, fabricated a pregnancy video, lied on multiple occasions under oath. Her charges are listed as follows. A grand jury has indicted Owens on the following: 1 count of fraudulent schemes and artifices, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of forgery, a Class 4 felony, 4 counts of perjury, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of tampering with physical evidence, a Class 6 felony. By my math, that amounts to 7 felony charges. And for so long, we've been wondering whether or not what happened to her in court, which, by the way, she's still in the process of fighting everything that happened in trial on appeal. She's still fighting all those things, but now she's fighting criminal charges, and they're not lightweight charges at all. Those are 7 felonies. I don't know what her exposure is on all of that. I have yet to do the math, but it's not lightweight stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to get some folks in here to talk with me. Where's Lauren when I need her? I'm trying to text a Lauren 90 and the Schnitzel to come and join. Hold on 1 second. Come and go live. Laura Owens indicted. I don't know what Lauren's doing right now, but yeah. I got to send a link to the ninja. Bruce wants to come on live. All right. Everybody's getting links. Everybody's linked. Bruce, Schnitzel, let me give you a link right now. And folks, I was just getting ready to leave the office. I was planning on streaming tonight on something completely different, which I'm probably still going to do, by the way. But instead, I got this tweet. And so now, here we are. Let me just find this. Okay. Here is one. Boom. Let me get Bruce in here. Bruce, you get a link incoming. Bruce is coming in. And again, folks, sorry, I don't have anything prepared. I'm literally just doing this on the fly. All this stuff is usually in the preliminary. Let me just shoot one over to Lauren. Whoever else is in the chat that wants to come on, that normally comes on, let me know. I'll shoot you a link too. We got to talk about this. I don't even know where to begin. So it's official. Folks, you should have your links. What's up, Nprez, Boots, Miss Mendoza? Where's my B? I don't know what your B is, but I don't even have my diffusers going. I got some star chats. Redondo says, hello, love. You rule, Lamar. F this bish. What's up, Moose? How you doing, sir?
Oh my gosh. Things are happening, Omar.
Breaking news on a Tuesday afternoon. Just as I'm getting ready to leave the office, I was just shutting down, man.
I'm just finishing a burrito, of all things. Can you believe it?
The perfect. It's always when you least expect it. How old is this tweet? This tweet was just posted. I don't know how to check like timestamps, or I guess 5:25. This is literally less than 50 or 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I'm scrambling, literally getting ready to leave the office and get this. Rob sends me this tweet. I'm not even sure who Bianca Buono is, but
Okay, so she is a reporter for, I believe it's Channel 12 in Arizona.
Okay.
And so there have been a number of news stories about the case by her and her associates on that channel.
Yeah. So she's legit then.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
She
Miss
she's the
Nighty.
main she's the main news reporter who's been going to these Rachel Mitchell, who is the county attorney. She's been going to these Rachel Mitchell press conferences and asking about this case, keeping the case, getting updates for the public.
Hey.
What's up, Lauren? How you doing?
So I clicked the link. I didn't realize you had started already. Give me like 5 minutes. I'll just mute myself and I'll be right back. Okay.
Hey,
No, got
I'm not even
burrito
dressed for
all
the
over me. I
occasion,
don't
so we're good. We're good. We're good. I got a schnitzel coming in. Bruce is eating a burrito. I was trying to get the hell out of here, and then when
All right,
news
man.
breaks, man. I'm not usually the one to break news. It's usually Lauren.
Give me just a few minutes. I'll be right back.
All right. Handle your thing.
I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
leave the
gosh.
stream. I'm just gonna mute myself.
Yeah. So look, not to revel in Laura Owens' misery, but
Oh, I'm reveling. I am reveling in that shit.
oh, Lauren. I know Lauren is.
Lauren can revel. I will be the voice of reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to be some kind of. Oh, my camera's like tilted this way. How do I do?
You're the tilted lawyer, dude.
It is.
It's
I guess
supposed
fitting.
to be that way.
I guess fitting. Let me get to some more of these comments. So many people that are, in here have been invested in this case for a long time. Rack says, let's effing go. Rack G with the $2. Kelly Steffi says, Christmas came early. I'm so happy for Clayton, everyone's whose story of behind him, as well as Mike and Greg. I just went on Kelly's show, Talk Time with Amy Boston on Kelly on Friday, talking about Laura Owens. They got a good thing going over there. Go check them out if you haven't had the opportunity. And thank you so much for the 5. Ricardo comes in. Maricopa City loves dishing and prosecuting felonies. Well, there's 7 of them. 7 felony counts. That is not by accident. 4 counts of perjury. 4 counts of perjury. I'd be interested in reading the criminal complaint when the time comes. Rag G also says, I suggested Reality Steve join you. Well, if Reality Steve wants to come in, I'll send him a link too. I don't know who wants to come in. I'm literally
Somebody said there's a docket live already for this.
Sure. There must be.
If I see any other links, guys, if you have links that we don't have, send them to me in Discord and I'll get them here.
Yeah, Bruce wants to come in.
Let's see what Brad has.
Come on, and Brad wants to come in.
Okay, he's got a grok.
He does have a grok
assessment. He's got a grok assessment of these charges. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me send a link to Brad.
Yeah.
Not Bruce. Brad. Make sure it's the right Brad. He's IT goatee, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot. I don't even call him that anymore. He's just Brad to me now. Anyway, he's got a link.
Yeah.
We'll see what Brock has to say.
Yeah.
Lauren is cursing at me in text messages.
Well, we had some other Brad, but I don't know if he knows the case.
Oh, you remember that then, right?
Oh yeah, he was a cool dude.
Yeah, no, he's all right, man. It was just he wasn't the Brad we were expecting, is all. We did a full show with him.
Yeah.
It worked out. Yeah.
Good times.
So,
oh my gosh. So Omar, here's my first question, just as a layman, not a lawyer.
Sure.
If we look at this bullet list, if we scroll down a little bit and look at
let me
this.
let him
Dave is on. Dave has the email that I got, which I think is the email you got, Omar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Omar, if we look at this list, okay,
yes.
So we see there's a variety. Oh, I'm not supposed to ask questions. Too late. There's a variety of felony classes here. 2, 4, and 6. Okay. What
I would imagine that
which ones are worse, or what's the difference here?
I think that the lower classes are the more serious.
No, it's class 1 is the worst. So
really,
class
okay.
Class
so these
2
are
is, I believe, I actually have a grok of everything.
Yeah.
So class 1 is the worst. Class 2 is pretty bad. Class 6 would be like almost a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, Class 2 is the worst. 6 is still pretty bad.
So
6 is not, lightweight.
First-time offender for a Class 2 felony, presumptive 5 years, mitigated 4 years, aggravated 12.5 years.
So how much time is she facing?
Presumptively 18.5 to 33.25 years.
if all sentences are consecutive. Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to go on a limb and say that they're not going to give her a consecutive sentence. I mean, I don't know what she's going to get, but it's not that's not lightweight charges. I'll tell you that.
Now, Omar, I know you do family law, not criminal law, but
I have a full background in criminal law.
If you do a plea deal, like you plead to lesser charges or something, how much of this do you think could get reduced?
Well, I personally think that she could probably get out of this without jail time if she does certain things.
She won't.
They're not going to let her.
She's gone this far. She won't fucking do it. She will not. The only way she stops is if she goes to jail and learns her lesson.
I'll tell you what my strategy would be for her. Number one, it's for her to shut the fuck up for a minute and listen to some advice, because now it's about your freedom. Yeah. I mean, look, you got a right to remain silent. You should probably effing use it. We're going to make some concessions. You're going to show some remorse. You're going to make the big apology. We're going to say that whatever, you were going through a rough time, you were dealing with some things in life and you made some mistakes, and you can't go back in time and change what's already been, but you could only move forward and hope that we could, the court could forgive. I don't know if she's going to avoid prison on this time, but that's what I would go for if I was her defense attorney. I don't think that I would ever plead to count 1. I think I would offer them a guilty plea to count the tampering with physical evidence. The Class 6 felony probably has the least sentencing, and ask for some kind of like monitored prison sentence, maybe like a home release or something, work release or home monitoring for like a year or 2, where she could still work, but she's going to have to go to like mental health classes. She's going to have to do a bunch of things. Really, there's no chance that she's going to go to criminal trial, and or that the DA is going to make a deal where all of these are going to go away. Like, they've been tracking this case for like a year now. When did Mata refer this? Was it last July?
Last July.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not quite a year, but
last summer. Yeah.
They've been taking their sweet time for a reason. They've been building a case, and look what they got her on. They got fraudulent scheme, which means that they are buying into the whole idea that she basically used fake pregnancy to extort Clayton Eckert in a family paternity case. They have the entire transcript from that trial and all the evidence that was presented to use against her. Forgery is based on the forged exhibits that were used as evidence in that trial to show that she was a liar.
Right.
That's different than tampering with physical evidence. Obviously, the perjury counts. I don't know what specifically they're going for perjury, but they've highlighted 4 obvious examples of it. And then we got the tampering with physical evidence.
Take your pick. We can find some.
Yeah.
So the perjury ones don't surprise me that it's more than 1.
Yeah.
You have the document, the charging document, right?
I don't have anything but this Twitter post. It literally was sent to me minutes ago.
I've got it up if you want it.
Sure. Share your screen. I'll put it up there. We could just go through it together. Might as well.
Oh, is this it? Oh.
You find the docket?
I've got it.
It's on the docket as well, but
let me put the link in the private chat.
I think I had to take that one off. Here we go. All right, so this is it. All right, let's take a. Why don't we read this? Scroll. All right, count 1.
Do you want the top or no?
No. Just go straight to the. All right, so count 1. Laura Michelle Owens on or between May 17th and June 10th, 2024, pursuant to scheme or artifice to defraud, knowingly did obtain benefit from Clayton Eckert by means of fraudulent pretenses, representation, promises, or material omissions. That's an interesting element that they're going to have to prove. What benefit did she obtain from Clayton?
She was going to get fame or notoriety by being attached to him through his entertainment deals.
But was that part of the fraudulent scheme, though? I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know what benefit that they're, because that's an element they have to prove.
Yeah.
And you're at the highest evidentiary standard beyond a reasonable doubt. I just don't know what specifically they're talking about when they say benefit that she received.
Or
Mhm.
it's the defrauding piece by saying, if you don't do this, then I'm going to have the babies, and in doing so eliciting the relationship out of him or attempting to.
But that's an extortion. And this element here knowingly did obtain a benefit. That's tangible.
Yeah.
That means she got something. I don't know what she got.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
We don't know what that is.
I really don't. I can't. I'm just going back in the recesses of my mind thinking about this case. I don't know what that would be.
Keep in mind, these investigators may know things we don't know. They may
For
have
sure.
uncovered some things we don't have insight into in
Well,
terms of financials, especially real estate or other things like that.
Yeah, no, I'll guarantee that they know things that we don't know. Going on to count 2, they're saying between June 27th and July 11th. Wasn't the trial? What date was the trial on?
June 10th.
2024.
So this is post-trial.
No, that's pre-trial.
Oh,
This is
23.
way
Okay,
before.
my bad. Way bad. With on or between these dates with intent to defraud did falsely make complete or alter a written instrument, to wit, the sonogram specifically, in violation of these codes. Count 3, on or about October 25th of 23, in regard to a material issue and believing it to be false, did make a sworn statement, to wit, testifying in front of Judge Duty that she had not been intimate with anyone else since March of 22.
That's interesting.
That is wild.
If they're going to prove that she was intimate with someone else other than Judge Duty,
let's read that again.
That's something we've never heard or thought of before.
You know what that means?
They
likely have a witness.
A witness
Who
or
is this,
devices.
Gillespie?
I don't know.
Is this the Gillespie time frame?
Well, they're specific about the date. They're saying, what's up, Schnitzel?
Whoa, wait,
Schnitzel
what the
will
fuck
know.
is this picture?
Huh?
What?
My picture's old. I don't know how that happened.
Oh,
Hi
I don't
guys!
know.
Holy shit! What the fuck?
It's,
my
anyone
God.
heard from,
it's
anyone heard from
Indictment
Dave?
Throwback Tuesday.
Oh
Where's
my
Dave at?
God.
I texted him, but I haven't heard back yet.
We're a little frazzled here. This is all
I'm sure
breaking news.
actually, Dave has family in town. I think, but his phone's probably blowing up. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and I'm
And
sure.
he's got emails. Dave is good.
Misbox.
Dave is good.
Schnitzel, what do you think about this?
I have been since this. I was notified of this. There have been things I haven't even wrapped my mind around this. I feel like a chicken with my head cut off. This is crazy. I haven't even read the whole thing yet.
Well, we're reading it
we're-
for the first time here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm literally reading it off of Brad's screen.
Oh, nice.
But I'm
Schnitzel,
just puzzled.
Do you know the Mike Maricini relationship timeline? Was it in this?
It's March 2016 to June 2017, but then they saw each other in the restaurant around November 2017. Then
wait.
December. What?
Okay, that's Mike. What about Greg?
That was 21,
is
wasn't
21. Yeah, like April 2021.
Okay, so this is interesting. So this false statement about not being intimate with anyone since March 2022. This is interesting.
Yeah, we're trying
are
to
they
figure
talking
out.
Merely talking about Clayton?
Because the other thing is we don't know if they've subpoenaed devices or not. So if they were able to get...
I can tell you they have, and they have received devices. So before this statement was made, there were a number, I will say literally exactly a handful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It makes sense.
Of devices taken. And yeah, that was probably 2 weeks ago.
So if they have devices, then they most likely have conversations that say, hey, this person is either being intimate, soliciting intimacy, dates.
Yep.
or other
potential
things.
other victim who we haven't found out about yet, or who hasn't come forward, who she found on a dating app potentially, who she tried to make these claims against, and for whatever reason, it just didn't materialize into a court thing.
For them to say this specific hearing with Judge Duty.
This is interesting because this is almost a 2-year period. March
they got her dead to rights.
October 2023.
She's dead to rights on this issue, whatever it is.
And this is only count 3.
Yeah.
And
remember,
so
there's a bunch of these.
Yeah, and in order to indict, they have to have probable cause, which means that Rachel Mitchell met with the grand jury, the handful of people, and they felt there was enough evidence based on what they were provided there to indict her. And the prosecutor believes they can meet the burden of proof. Those two things have to happen before an indictment.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to sound like a lawyer or anything here. I know I'm not, but
no, you're doing fine.
I received some information on that. So anyway, that's what I've been told.
Amazing.
There's count 4 in regard to material issue being Laura Michelle Owens on or about March 1, 2024, in regard to a material issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement claiming that sonogram image was hers during sworn deposition. We know about that one. Going to count 5.
Deposition, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Laura Owens on or about March 1 in regard to material issue and believing it to be false did make a false sworn statement. Video clip of father touching pregnant belly.
Oh, there we go.
They have Sarah's video.
Yeah.
And maybe they even have evidence that Sarah texted her that video.
Right, exactly.
Guys, do you think they took Tag's phone?
Let's hope so.
I'm sure they'll find Tag's email address.
Oh my gosh, Dave and I spent a lot of time on this video, looking at this video. Oh my, this is amazing.
And I remember I sent it to Mike, and I asked him if he recognized this, and he said that is 100% not Laura. He said that is Sarah.
Right.
Wow.
And then I was texting Dave during the live. I was like,
yeah.
Mike says that's Sarah.
So they know it too, and she's dead to rights on that issue. By the way, Medusa with the 5 says, "Merry Christmas, everyone. Santa's real. Life is good. Laura is in trouble." I got to get to some of these because they're all just coming in. Purple Dragon Shill with the 5 says, "Thank you for the update. I got to go on. I'll catch replay. Today is the grand jury day. A problematic YouTuber has also been indicted." Who was that? I have no idea.
Who knows?
Let's go on to count 7.
6.
Wait, can I ask you something real quick?
6.
I don't know if you asked it. So is the 2 felony, what the fuck is it called?
Class 2 felony?
Class 2 felony. Yeah.
Is that a minimum of 3 years in prison if they convict? What is that?
I've got that up as well.
Mitigated is 4 years, it says from Grok.
Yeah.
She's facing total 18 years. Was that what it was, Bruce? Or 18 to 33, I think you said.
Well,
18 and a half to 33 and a quarter if all sentences are consecutive.
Right.
So presumptive is 5 years for a class 2 first-time offender.
So what's the difference between like presumptive and aggravated?
So this is what's like on the books, and then if aggravated means that there's some other thing that caused it to be exceptionally heinous, and then mitigated is like, well, it's a first-time offender, they're an established member of the community, all the usual things that you hear in arraignment hearings, things like that.
So you probably wouldn't get aggravated in this case.
No, that'd be like for the worst of the worst cases. It's sort of like in California, they have like the high term, the low term, the mid term, which is basically the same kind of
I've heard of aggravated MURDER for sure. I mean, but I
aggravated assaults and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, these fake twins have been aggravating me for a couple of years now. I mean, in my opinion. But anyway.
Yeah, look at that. So let's go down to count 7, Brad.
6.
I think that's the last count.
6.
We didn't do 6 yet. Laura Owens, in regard to a material issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement. That's me showing my pregnant stomach.
That's
the
trial date.
That's June 10th.
The trial date.
Yep.
Count 7 on June 10th with intent that it be used, introduced, rejected, or made unavailable in an official proceeding, which was then pending or which Laura Owens knew was about to be instituted, did destroy, mutilate, alter, conceal, or remove physical evidence to wit, exhibits A6 and A7 used during the hearing with the intent to impair its verity or availability in violation of these statutes. What evidence did she destroy? I assume they're talking about evidence that came into trial.
A6 and A7, that we can probably go find the video that was displayed of all of the exhibit lists to figure out which exhibits those were.
Also, it says alter. All you have to do is the Adobe Acrobat to alter it, and you're in here.
And this isn't the ultrasound, right? Where she admitted in.
Omar, can you scroll up a little tiny bit?
We'll have to figure out what 6 and 7 are.
Brad is doing the scrolling.
Oh, sorry.
We're tag teaming it right now.
Intended to be used, introduced. Could that have something to do with the Planned Parenthood thing?
That's what I was thinking, the Planned Parenthood ultrasound.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of documents that they reviewed on June 10th that could have been altered. There were the things with the highlighter, the documents. There was the photos of her. There was the ultrasound photo. There was a lot of things on June 10th that this could apply to, because it includes the word alter. In my opinion,
Freckle Ginger says that she should have spit it and quit it.
Oh boy.
Oh damn.
Oh, she did. She just still got pregnant.
Oh, well, a miracle baby.
Just still
Cat Lady Ballerina says, how does this affect all of the restraining orders? Well, that's a really good question. So it doesn't affect them directly, but I happen to know with Maricini's case, in the event that she moves to renew that order and Maricini asks for an evidentiary hearing, or Gillespie asks for an evidentiary hearing, then this criminal indictment is going to prevent her from being able to testify at those hearings because of Fifth Amendment stuff. Whatever she says is going to be used against her at the criminal hearings. It also undermines her credibility, so they could basically impugn her credibility ad nauseum, and she can't really defend herself without lying more about it. So it's either she comes clean. Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Wait, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, it's huge because to the extent, and I don't know if she has anything pending, but I know that she was going for renewals of restraining orders. I don't remember if it was with Gillespie or with I don't know if Maricini's has gotten there yet. But if somebody wanted an evidentiary hearing against her right now, to the extent that it was entangled with this evidence, then you could attack her credibility as much as you want, and she really can't do much to defend herself. She's already facing felony counts of perjury.
Greg is in that window, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, so they can bring this up. I mean, I've seen criminal cases where it's like the Lori Daybell thing.
Hold on, folks.
Talk about the one case in the current case. Oh, now we lost Omar. So I don't know. Maybe with restraining orders and family court, it's way looser, and they can just bring up whatever they want. I'm really not sure.
What if we just simply altered the location on the document? I hear that works in court sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We did 7, right?
Yeah. 7's the last one. So that's it.
What is this stuff at the bottom? What's a true bill? What's that?
It's probably the
title of her next Medium article. Yeah.
I doubt that, but
true bill. Okay. Date May 1st, 2025. Happy birthday, Dave. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Can you send the link in private chat?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Copy link, paste.
Yeah, she would have
Rachel
to
and Steve are doing something tomorrow. Rachel's going on with Steve tomorrow, I guess. Yeah.
Did Clayton post something?
I don't know.
He might be on a beach.
No, someone said Clayton has posted something. We should check that out.
I was just about to ask, has anybody heard from Gingerbread over there?
Let me go look.
He's been quiet since he was throwing shade at Rachel.
Yeah, Clayton. Clayton just posted a video.
Yeah. Oh, somebody showed.
Want to bring that up?
To share this news with you all. that
I can do
today,
this.
as of
You gotta share it.
20 minutes ago, Maricopa.
Hold on. Just pro tip, if you share something from Instagram from your account, the person you share it with will see your name.
Oh, well, you know what? Somebody send it to me and then I'll share it.
I'm prepared to dox Omar.
I've already
Here,
been.
I'll send
Is
it
it
to
a
you.
post or a reel? What
It's
is
a
it? Is it-
post. Like a
He's in
his
this gray
most recent
shirt.
post.
Okay, I got it. Is this it? Do.
I sent it to you, Omar.
Okay.
Put it in the private chat. Boop.
Ooh.
Bing
Well,
bong.
Oh boy.
hold on a minute. It's not working.
Try Bruce's link.
Could you hear it?
It sounded echoey. No,
I'm not.
couldn't hear
It's
it.
not being shared.
Oh, hold on. I think my
And
speaker.
remember to share like the third thing so you can turn the audio on too.
Okay. I don't have anything muted. It should be good. Yeah, it's not coming through.
It's not on the window.
It's not up in the
It's
active
Oh.
participants. You
All
gotta
right,
edit
hold on,
the
hold on, hold on.
stage.
Hold on. Oh, shit. I'm not doing very well. Oh, I had to stop. Okay, here we go. Now I think I have it.
there. We go. Just gotta unmute it on the page.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
I think 20
Here,
minutes
let's
ago, Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell has announced the indictment of Laura Michelle Owens on felony charges related to the paternity scheme. 1 count of fraudulent schemes, a class 2 felony, 1 count of forgery, a class 4 felony, 4 counts of perjury, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of tampering with physical evidence, a class 6 felony. This nightmare is over. I am so ready to not have to think about this anymore. I want to say thank you to Rachel Mitchell and the investigators for serving up justice. I want to thank my lawyers. Oh, they've been incredible standing by my side. This wouldn't have gotten to this point if it wasn't for Greg Woodnick and his entire incredible team. And this is just such a weight lifted off. I'm really looking at messages coming through right now. Other guys, we are so thankful. And thank you all for your support. I have not been this happy. This is a weight of 2 years lifted off my shoulders, of these guys before me, years lifted off their shoulders. It feels good.
All right, so that was that. He's a happy man. What can you say? The guy's been through a lot. Rosalind Duke says a hallelujah with the $5.
Gosh.
Thank you so much. Sarah Dawn is in the chat, says this is amazing. I love all you guys with hearts and ice creams. I think that's what that is. $5. I mean, Wheat Toast says, just saw this on X and noticed you on live. I'm so freaking excited. Go JFC. Would you all consider this a win for JFC, or do any of you guys feel vindicated?
I think it's a win for justice. It's a win
Yeah.
for all of these victims. It's a win for people who believed in like the truth here and weren't gaslit by all of her and her lawyers' lies.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to get what she deserves. She needs to stop. And I don't know if this will make her stop completely, but I think it will in some ways make it a lot more difficult for her to continue doing the same kind of shit.
One of the things we were talking about before you jumped on, Schnitzel, was what do we think about sentencing and whatnot? And I think the biggest impediment to whether or not this gets pled out is Laura Owens' own ego.
Mm-hmm.
Because up until this point, she has done everything she can to not accept any kind of responsibility.
Right.
And to admit or plea and make public statements and whatnot about this case specifically, she's going to the amount of crow that's going to have to be ate by her is she will gain 50 pounds, I would imagine. And she kind of needs it, but that's beside the point.
Well, I can tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Schnitzel.
Oh, I was going to say I could see her pleading and then saying like, oh, I was forced into this. Like, it's so unfair, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can see her going that route.
No,
I mean, like, couldn't you guys see her doing that?
Yeah, like that one lady, the suitcase lady. What was her name?
Sarah
I forget.
Boo?
Sarah Boone, yeah.
Sarah Boone, yeah.
Sarah Boone's still going buck wild out in the jail over there.
I mean, look, I want to say it's a little different when you got your freedom on the line. I mean, I've been telling her to take the course of, just apologize and move on or whatever. She could have done this at any time. Like months ago, she could have done this. But she got that dipshit attorney Gingerbread, and he allowed her to just like go full steam ahead into what she's facing now. 33 years in prison. If I'm the DA and she wants a deal, it's going to require an apology or some kind of remorse or whatever. I don't know. But if she's not willing to do this, if they make them go to jury trial on all of this, I could see them pushing for the max, 33 consecutive, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't think she's going to get that at sentencing, but she's going to get something crazy like 8 to 10 years if she loses on trial.
Jury trial after she lost the judgment. So I mean, she's going to get her jury trial, I guess.
Oh, she was going to be really lucky if. What was it, Brad? It was. I think you said 18 to 33.
18 to 33
all
is
consecutive.
Yeah. So my theory crafting on this would be the county attorney says plead to the felony 2 and will recommend 1 year delayed on the sentencing.
Maybe. I mean, my strategy as her defense attorney would be to try to get her a sentence that doesn't involve prison.
Absolutely. But if you get a 1 year deferred sentence, but get her to plea to the most heinous one, and because if you make her plea to that piece, then that completely destroys her entire narrative about anything else. And regardless of whether you get pleas on the individual bits of perjury, you got the fact that
the midterm on count 2 or on count 1, the class 2 felony.
Let me grab it back up.
The presumed
5 years.
Yeah.
I could see them offering her 5 years, plea to count 1, dismiss all other counts, and then she does her time. I could see them offering that.
Oh my gosh.
Because that would be pretty harsh for a first-time sentence, but...
Yeah, but there's not really much mitigating factors but for her apology. She's had many opportunities to apologize. The reason why we're here is because of her failure and inability to accept responsibility and to continue to hold herself out as the victim. So I can just getting into the head of the DA. There's no circumstance where we're going to give her a mitigating sentence or allow her to plead to that.
Also, keep in mind, these are the first charges we've seen after 10 years approximately of doing this to multiple people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what, because you're right. She might have, that evidence might go all the way back there. I guarantee you everything that's on the Padlet, everything that is out there on the internet with this timeline and everything else, that Schnitzel and others were so instrumental in putting together. They know all of that stuff, and they know some extra stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So things that we don't know. Like I'm fascinated by who this guy is that she was involved with.
Mm-hmm.
They seemingly have her on because of some evidence that they've subpoenaed or somebody that they have in their back pocket as a witness that's going to be able to prove that she lied to Judge Judy about not being involved sexually with anybody else. That's
between 22 and 23. Yeah.
That's a wild card.
We've seen things. I remember there was like a picture with some guy, who knows who it could be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Or who the other witnesses are. The investigators obviously can look at things we can't look at. That's fine. They can talk to people who don't want to talk publicly, and that's fine as well.
Well, for her sake, I just kind of...
Here's the thing, Omar. These are laws that we hold people accountable to, assuming that they are reasonable adults with a fully developed prefrontal cortex, right? And she's at least 33, so she meets your criteria for developed enough for a relationship.
Fully developed, yeah. Or science's criteria isn't my criteria.
These are the standards we hold people accountable to.
Yeah.
When they do things that society deems inappropriate. So, I mean, I think it's just reasonable at this point, given everything we've seen.
Yeah. Rock G with the 5 says, my heart has never been happier for Clayton, Greg, Michael, Greg Woodnick, and her other victims. I do not wish ill on her, but consequences are good to see. Let me just run through some of these real quick. Just Ricardo with the 2 says, paid plea for Lauren to call her a say it,
cunt.
Lauren.
See you
A
next
cunt.
Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Just for lots of people asking this question, no, being a cunt is not classified in the DSM-5, so she cannot plead mental instability for anything like this.
It's not an ailment. It's not a mental ailment, in other words.
Right.
Tiffany DeTrill says, I don't think this would have happened without you guys. Well done. You guys have all done extraordinary work on this case. Schnitzel, Bruce, Brad, Lauren. I'm just a guy that like commented like at the very end. I don't think I deserve anything. I'm just saying that you guys have all been instrumental in different ways to varying degrees in bringing a lot of this case to light. Granted, I think that Laura Owens herself and her inability to take responsibility made this case like so unneedlessly bigger than it needed to be. I think her lawyer is an idiot, Gingerbread. I really hope that she is not relying on him for criminal defense counsel. He was not the guy. He doesn't have the temperament to be able to humble himself the way that a defense attorney would need to defend her in this case. She's got a lot to think about, and I hope I could imagine her head is probably spinning. She probably has an arraignment date set. She probably has, I don't know, man. I heard that she's not doing very well.
It's already on the docket, so...
Is there a court date?
I don't think that's been posted yet, but it does have a case number, and it's already in this e-system.
Oh, she's been indicted. Of course she does.
Wild.
Let me see. Sarah Dawn says, Lauren, your grin is everything right now. Yeah.
I'm
Lauren,
very
man.
happy. I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
I mean, you read through these charges, and one thing I wanted to mention in terms of her lawyer, I think half of these things are more. We'll have to go read it more carefully, but a lot of these things predate Gingras' involvement in this case. Some of them, the June 10th things and things leading up to that, he was certainly her lawyer at that time, but not during the deposition, not during this Judge Duty time period.
Well,
so it's not all because of his,
it's not. But I'll tell you what it is.
Ability to stop her.
I say to that, this whole idea that look, whatever happened before me is not my business. I don't know anything about all that stuff. It was his business to know that. He can't
that's a complete cop out for sure. I agree.
Cannot let your client go on the stand and perjure herself, and he did, because he feigned ignorance or allowed himself to make Lauren believe that he feigned ignorance or whatever, and as a result, she's now facing 4 felony counts of perjury because he didn't prep his witness.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe if he had never been involved and things had stopped at a certain point of time, this would have been 3 felony counts instead of 7 or whatever the number is. Right?
I mean,
it's still a lot.
Just the fact that it got to trial. Go ahead, Brad.
So we have A6 and A7 are the door frame pictures and video.
Oh, interesting.
So they must have found evidence that she sent it to or sent it through a program or sent it to someone on some app and edited it.
Or had multiple copies of it. It's so amazing because Gingras, of course, was saying on Twitter over and over again how legit these photos must have been, and how it shows how pregnant she was, and how
just as legit as his law license.
These people pointing out artifacts that could be Photoshop are off their rocker, right? That's all on Twitter. I have videos where I go through all of his tweets and all the replies. You can go back and watch those videos and see him defend those photos specifically.
I mean, I know it's funny when I clown on Gingerbread, but there's a reason, because there's many times during everything that's happened that I felt like, Laura needs to get away from this guy. He's not advising her properly. If this never went to trial, she's never facing criminal charges. If at some point she listened to any of her
I think he did a great job. I think he did exactly what we all needed to have happen. And I think, Laura, keep fighting for your truth. Keep saying that all of this stuff is wrong and that you've been honest the whole time. Please believe in yourself, girl. Do it.
Why don't you blog about it, you dumb bitch?
Jesus. I do wonder how much appetite Owens is going to have to continue her Rule 26 arguments in appellate court now that this is going down.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. I think Gingerbread wants it to.
I think he's going to quietly step away from the case. That is
be really smart.
my personal opinion.
Yeah, because honestly, I'd be afraid of a malpractice suit or lots of other things. I mean, maybe he just doesn't care. He's been talking about losing his license now for a long time, many months, because of various things that he's done. But to have your client end up with criminal charges when, it could have readily been prevented.
Do you think he's going to dip out of going to the Arizona Supreme Court?
Yeah, I do.
They have, what is it, a week to, the 15th is next Thursday. So
I guess we'll see. It's not in his best interest to do that.
A week and a bit to put that in. I know that ineffective assistance to counsel is rarely brought, but would making your client perjure herself on the stand and qualify as malpractice or ineffective assistance to counsel?
I don't know if it's he didn't make her do anything.
He didn't make her do anything she didn't want to do.
To the extent that he said, here's what it is. It's ineffective assistance of counsel, arguably, and it's a really, really high bar. Like, they basically let you fuck up royally and with no consequence. But if you feign ignorance of 10 years worth of evidence and go into a trial unprepared and fail to prepare your client to not perjure herself, arguably, you've committed not just malpractice, but ineffective assistance of counsel, because he didn't know the case. He admitted to not knowing the case many times with Reality Steve, with Judge Rachel, with myself. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. That anything happened March 23 and prior to that has nothing to do with me. But it was his job to know those things.
So you think it does qualify for ineffective assistance? I thought ineffective assistance, the bar was so high, like your lawyer fails to show up to court or falls asleep during a hearing or something.
I don't think that they're going to get him for ineffective, but it arguably is. If there is 10 years of documented evidence related to your case, and you admit over and over again that you knew nothing about anything but for the 3 months that you were representing Owens. He said that over and over. Now, I bet you if you brought him on this show right now and said, I never said that. Of course I knew about the case. I'm not going to walk in trial unprepared. But he did say that over and over again. And it appeared that he didn't know the facts. It appeared that he didn't know the facts of the case like months after the trial happened on his very public Twitter wars that he was having with everybody, with Reality Steve, with Rachel, Judge. Who's that judge? The hot bench lady?
Oh, Rachel Juarez.
Rachel Juarez, yeah. He admitted that he was unfamiliar with critical aspects of the case.
Yep.
And that I can see some judges, some licensing associations looking at that as ineffective assistance of counsel. How could you have been effective if you don't know the evidence? Mm-hmm. How could you have possibly prepared your witness to testify as much as she did if you didn't know the evidence yourself?
What is the jurisdiction for this, Omar? Is it civil, criminal, the bar? What is the level
the state bar apply to? Has jurisdiction to look at it. The state courts have jurisdiction to look at it. I don't think that the federal courts are going to do anything.
Wouldn't that fall as a civil issue for Laura against Gingras?
Sure, she could bring conceivably try to bring a federal suit against him if she wanted to do that. She could. More realistically, it'd be a state claim against Gingras. Arguably, well, I don't know. I guess technically you would make it a federal case, but more realistically, this is a state case, and of course the state bar has been involved for a long time now. Presumably the state of California could get involved in what has been going on to the extent that it's affected California cases. I don't know. I think whatever's going to happen to Gingerbread is going to be limited to Arizona. He may lose his license in California just by virtue of what's gone down in Arizona, but his penalties are going to come from that state.
Dave put out a Patreon post.
Oh, what does Dave say?
He's just saying, I told you all last week.
Well,
Mazza with the 2 says, first could be her taking money from support groups. Well, there was that. MM with the 15 says, if there is a jury trial, will perhaps Mike and Greg be able to tell their stories in the trial? Maybe.
My phone is exploding.
To the extent that it's relevant, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for our victims. I hope they get some peace.
I will say that I can't say much, but Mike will be relevant.
That'll be interesting
in this case.
Makes a lot of sense. Lost Case just decided to give us $20. Thank you so much for that. Jenna Balby says, I wonder if he will rep her for this too. I really would be fascinated if he volunteered for that.
Oh my god.
What
There's no
chance.
chance. No chance.
Can you imagine? Go ahead. I was to say, can you imagine him having to re-go through all of the stuff that we've been throwing at him, saying, you need to read this, you need to read this. And he's like, oh, now I've got to read all of this crap and digest it and understand it.
So I was, let's say, researching before I got on with you guys and thinking that it would take at least 50 to 100K in a retainer for Laura to obtain for any lawyer to touch this case. What are your opinions on that?
Well, because it's not the kind of case you're going to win. And so you're going into it knowing that you got the one that everybody is, all the vitriol is directed towards. You're really going in there to mitigate, because there's not a world that exists where you're going to get a not guilty verdict in all of this. There's too much evidence out there. There's a ton of evidence to go through. And so really the job is going to be trying to find a way and work with the DA and find a deal that Laura will be happy with, which is the hardest part of it. Because look, if she gets a deal for, say, look, you're going to do 2 years, plead to count 6 or whatever. Plead to count 6 or 7. We'll give you 2 years. You'll do time in state prison. You'll do whatever classes, 11 years of parole or probation after that, and whatever fine. That's a pretty good deal when you're facing 33 years, but she's never going to agree to that. And so likely you're going to be trying to get her to plead, because if you go to trial, she's going to be guilty on all of those counts. I can't see a single count that she could conceivably fight. Although I don't know what tangible benefit she could have possibly obtained from Eckerd in count 1. That's a question mark for me. But all the rest of them, it looks like they got her dead to rights. They must.
What did count 1 say?
It said that she had this fraudulent scheme whereby she obtained some kind of a benefit from Clayton.
Can you put
I don't know what that could have been. Yeah, put it back on the screen, Brad.
Jeez.
Oh, so, with love.
Your Majesty.
Could have just sent me the link. I would have done it, but
it's in the private chat.
It's in the private chat, man.
Oh, it is?
I put everything in the private chat.
I never go in the private chat because it's private.
Oh my gosh.
I don't go in there because I don't know what you guys say.
All right, I have it. You never know what you're going to find in there. All right, I think I have.
That's Lauren in my private space.
That's where we talk about loves.
Yeah.
So May 17th must have been the LinkedIn messages.
The first communications.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is count 1. Laura Owens.
Bigger. Zoom in or something.
Bigger, Omar.
Yeah. We like a big.
All right.
We like a big Omar. Come on.
Lauren.
Jesus.
Huh?
It's already all the way in. Never mind.
Oh boy.
Laura Owens, on or between May 17th and June 10th of 24, pursuant to scheme or artifice to defraud, knowingly did obtain a benefit from Clayton Ray Eckerd by means of fraudulent pretenses, representation, promises, or material omissions in violation of these statutes. I don't know what benefit from Clayton she got is the problem with that count 1. I just don't know.
I wonder if this is like, I wonder if they figured out that $450,000 bank account was fraudulent. And she went and put offers in on these real estate properties or something like that, right? Like they could be looking at all sorts of financial crime in this
what's
one.
What's a benefit in the court's eyes?
Something tangible, some monetary thing, some like a job position, some kind of something tangible that's of value.
Public
that
exposure.
That you wouldn't otherwise have. I don't think public exposure would be enough.
An offer
it's got to be
real estate.
Tangible.
An offer submitted on real estate.
Maybe
by a real estate company
that she wouldn't have otherwise gotten, but for this scheme.
And they're saying this whole time period, the entire time period up to the trial.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, this covers the entire timeline for Clayton.
Could the benefit be tarnishing his name, which would make her look more
No,
honest?
that wouldn't be the benefit. It's something that would have benefited her.
Yeah.
In a tangible way.
Well, tangible is, that's the operative word, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say that, but that's the way that I'm understanding this to mean. Did obtain a benefit. A benefit usually means a tangible thing that is of value that she wouldn't otherwise have gotten but for this scheme to defraud.
I mean, in this window, they bought an Airbnb, right?
Well, the extortion for if you drop the case, I won't countersue you for $1.2 million.
I would think they would have pinpointed the date of that because that's an email.
Right.
So that would have been like some email date up to June 10th or something, or the judgment, which would have been June 17th or whatever that was.
Rebecca K says to watch for the Medium article. I don't think she's going to be posting anything.
Oh, yes,
I doubt it.
She's going to be more.
She can't help herself.
I don't know, man. I'd be surprised.
She's going to be spiraling more than she ever has before, and I think we're going to see things.
Domino's Pizza. Binges.
Cyber bullies. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I mean, really, going back to it, shout out to the community, because the community are the people that looked at everything on Reddit, the people that found the old sonograms, the people that, connected people together, the people that connected Dave to Law Talk with Mike. These are the people that made a difference. The whole community, the people that sent Rachel Mitchell letters every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Every single person. And whether behind the scenes, people aren't getting along or whatever things that have happened, every single person who has had anything to do with this has helped. And I just hope everyone feels vindicated, because I feel like we've been in the right, that we've been on the right side of things. And I feel that's supported in every ruling we've received.
Well, I think that this has been a passion project. I know of Schnitzel's, of Bruce, of Lauren, of Brad. You guys have all done things for this case just because you were passionate about the cause.
Yeah. And it's not about being right or wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about being intellectually honest and looking at the evidence as the evidence presents itself and dealing with that as it comes. In the early days, we just didn't know. We were like, maybe Clayton did get this lady pregnant and she's got a story to tell. Yeah. We just didn't know. But we followed the evidence. We were intellectually honest. We used logic and reason. We used science. We used law and community, because the group is much stronger than any one person. Any one person, just look at this case, Mike Maricini all by himself, Greg Gillespie all by himself. Once you have a community, you can do amazing things.
Yeah. And you guys took a lot of ridicule because by virtue of Gingerbread's attempts to classify the community as this negative thing, as if, you guys were on some kind of a witch hunt. But the reality of it is, she kept on pushing.
Well, maybe we were, but guess what? We found the damn witch.
There you go. Rack G says, will he still go to the Arizona Supreme Court? I don't know. That's up to him.
I think the odds are falling. I think the odds are falling now.
Yeah. Miss Medusa with 20 says, thank you to everyone who worked on this, from doc runners to submods to timeline builders, wiki and victim of Laura's websites, all the best Substack, the Flock, JFCX, JFCIG, all YouTubers, everyone. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it vindication, because y'all didn't have anything to be vindicated for. It's really just the culmination of so much effort on the part of so many to expose and ultimately to stand up for genuine victims. I feel like Clayton Eckert, I feel like Gillespie, I feel like Maricini, and who knows who else have been victimized by this person. And when you bring somebody to justice in that way, there's no vindication for the people that worked on it to try to expose it. It's a happy day because you know that justice has been served and you believe that you're on the side of good. And maybe that's the vindication of it all. But I also think that having known all of you somewhat, getting to know you guys over the last year or so, if you were presented with any evidence that Owens didn't do any of this, I feel like y'all would have jumped ship on trying to like tear her down or whatever it is, or
100%, or even like with the napkin lady. Like I did a deep balls deep dive into that lady.
Whoa,
Back in like November of 23.
that sounds like a
And-
assault.
Deep,
And
deep in the Schmetzel.
and in talking with Mike too, like I came to believe that it really was her, that really happened. She really
Mhm.
wrote it, and she really wrote that statement for their court case. However, I also believe she saw one moment in time. I believe Laura was probably acting, like a certain way on the plane, and it made it look like this picture. I'm sure she played it up too when, all of this stuff. So even something like that, I'm not just like, no way it was her. I'm like, I'm looking at the evidence and saying, I do think that was real.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to get to some more of these. Karen Cars 10 with $5 says, well, it's positive for Owens. She will not be able to pay the judgment when she is in jail. Well, that I guess is true. I'm not sure if she's going to have the ability to pay it now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she does. I don't know what her finances are. That remains
Her
to be
dad
seen.
has a sweet GoFundMe sitting there right now.
Yes, he does. I've heard all about that. Julio with 20 says, finally, any bets on if Gingras represents her for criminal charges? Can you imagine the motions he will file? I don't think that Gingras is competent to represent her in this criminal case. Honestly,
Almost zero.
Yeah, I don't know what
I
his
mean,
criminal experience is, but
what about conflict of interest? I mean, he represented her in this family court case.
I mean, you could do that. You could I've done that before, representing family court and the criminal case. There's not really that's not inherently a conflict of interest. I just don't think that, knowing what I know of Gingerbread, that he has any criminal court experience. And now's not the time to learn when your client's facing 33 years. He should back the shit off and let somebody else take over.
His practice areas listed on his website are internet law, copyright, First Amendment, and business torts, none of which are criminal.
Yeah.
Business torts.
Kristen H. just became a member. Thank you, Kristen. Jenna Balby with the $2 says, will any of you be there if it goes to trial?
I'll be there.
We'll try.
Yeah, probably. I'll try.
I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be waiting.
It depends on how long it will be, but I will do my best to try and be there for at least a couple days.
It's like a 1 hour flight, man. Why not?
1 hour? What?
Yeah. I mean, California, Arizona?
Well, yeah, California, but not coming from Michigan.
Oh, well, not for you. I'm talking, like, if I wanted to go, it'd be like an hour and 10-minute flight or something.
You could take the bus.
We'll get a party bus. I'll come pick you up.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah. I got to shout out Lauren92 because I feel like Lauren got started doing YouTube when I got started doing YouTube. And she got started on this case, and she was a much smaller YouTuber back then. And she, was able to get into that courtroom and have the thing televised, and it wouldn't have been televised but for her efforts. And then after the fact, just in her minding her own business, trying to cover this case, has been attacked mercilessly by these fucking people for no other reason than they just didn't like her. And they threatened her with lawsuits. They threatened her with copyright strikes. And she spent many nights fretting about what this fucking guy Gingerbread was going to do to her. And I felt like as a community, we all came to her defense and they knocked it off. And, I don't know how vindicated, or if I honestly don't know if that's the right word, Lauren, but I just want to say that I'm proud of you for how you've conducted yourself, composed yourself over the last year and what you've ultimately become and are becoming.
Well, I think you probably saved me from myself a few times there.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Attorney-client privilege. So, all right. Let me get to some more of these. Samuel Snyder with the 10 says, Lauren laughing at the potential jail time gave me life. There's something about Lauren's chuckle, man, that just tickles people.
I'm not done. I'm going to troll the shit out of this lady. Oh my God. It's really amazing.
Cynic in Chief says, looks like Laura finally got effed, but by Rachel. Yeah, yes, she did.
Boy.
Oh, imagine the babies. Rack 5 with a $5 says, can she get a court appointed if she's declared indigent? Yes. And I'm sure I don't know. I see she's going to have to qualify financially to be appointed a public defender. So we'll see. I don't know.
It's going to be rough because All the Best Research did a big expose about how she's divesting herself of everything. including getting her removed from the real estate trust that's working on her Airbnb and all this other stuff. So they're either going to say, well, you have nothing to you, but somebody is providing assets to you in order to be able to live and eat and all of these things, which then includes her parents in providing for her. And then they're going to say, well, your dad just got $150,000 GoFundMe. So you can't say that you don't have money around.
Well, they're probably going to have a hearing on her finances. She's going to have to provide a declaration of her assets and income. And not perjure herself, and so they're gonna dive into all that.
Are her parents' assets relevant? Because I remember in the OJ case, he lost a big civil case and owed a bunch of money, and the way he solved that was by basically going bankrupt and then living with his friends in Florida.
Well, I mean,
it was their cars and their condo and their everything.
But the difference there is a civil case is going after you, the person, whereas you are trying to justify to the state that you can't pay your own attorney.
Criminal, yeah.
And your parents are not responsible for your attorney fees once you're 33 years old.
But if you're living on a house on their property and they're providing your food,
is it different? Yeah.
Well, just those are expenses. Expenses mean things, but not really. What they're really looking for is what your income is and the value of your assets. You can make an argument that your expenses exceed your income and try to do it that way. But yeah, we'll see.
Also, she's turning 35 in about a week.
Oh, so she's no longer 33. She's old. She's matured. She has matured.
That's awesome.
Time is a wheel
wants to know,
continuously crushing us all.
Yeah. Sarah A wants to know if Gingy's going to represent her. I don't know.
No,
I don't think you should.
Read that last super chat by Fake Laura Owens.
I'm trying to get. They're all just like, man. There's a bunch. Special super sticker with the 5. Thank you. Her name is Special. Her name is Special. I appreciate that.
Very good.
Fake Laura Owens says, I feel like maybe it's time for me to get a new attorney. You think? You think?
Maybe.
Just somebody that knows criminal law at the very least. Lazy L with the $2 says, does this mean she's been arrested? She's going to have to present herself to the court, and there will be a bail hearing, I'd imagine.
Hearing,
yeah, bond hearing.
There's going to be a bond hearing.
Yeah, and if she can't make bond, she will be jailed. The way it usually works is if they set a bond, they will process her, arrest her that day, process her. She'll get out later that night, and she'll be subject to the bond.
All public.
Anyone say GoFundMe for health issues?
This is what the GoFundMe was for. Then. Okay, the bond. I got it. I got it now. It's all making sense.
No, it was for her dad's very real cancer and shit, guys.
Well,
I could just tell you, I just went through this in California with one of my clients. We had a bail hearing. The judge issued bail. He was remanded into custody. They took him in. They processed him, and then he was released later that night after they went through the whole thing.
According to the criminal docket, it says that a summons and affidavit of service has been filed as of today. So
there we go.
All right. Hope Johnson with a 20 says, is there a medium piece yet? No, I don't suspect there will be. And it's less likely now because...
Okay, I will bet you $10.
If she does that, she's literally...
I want to sniff the side of that bet.
I can't say certain words. I'm just saying. But if she does that, Jesus.
Now, Omar, if she has to post a bond to not go to jail, can they pay the bond in chocolate bars they give to the police in the court? Can they do that? Or
I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out. Anything is possible, but not likely. That's what I would say to that.
Oh my gosh.
Hito Zakura. I butchered that. A huge thank you to Dave Neal for really bringing this case to light, the JFC community for digging in, and today's panel, especially Lauren, on all your coverage. You guys are great. Thank you for
that is our friend who was
thanks to Hito for going over all of these.
Wasn't Hito the one that was threatened by gingerbread?
Yeah,
yes.
the Reddit poster.
How'd that work out for him? Stupid
thanks
ass.
To Hito for doing all of that. And
Fake Lauren Owens again says, pay the judgment, bitch, with the laughing emojis across the board. That means she's
not going to pay.
Yeah. Just Ricardo says, if you come to Arizona, hit me up. Let's celebrate. If I'm in Arizona, I will sound the alarms. And we're going out for something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I want to see Brad twerk.
I don't know if you're going to see me twerk.
Sounds hot. Right?
But you could give me my first cigar though.
Oh, I got some.
Your first
Your ass
cigar.
Oh, and he's gone.
What the?
I scared him off. Good God.
The thought of you twerking did brain damage, I guess.
I think so. What the hell?
I gotta go
you're
tap
muted.
one out. Be right back. He's not
You're
alright.
muted.
I don't even know
Oh,
what.
there you go.
I mean,
Okay, I'm back. I was doing stuff. All right. Fletcher Boy. Did I read that one, Fletcher Boy? But what about the twins, prison babies? Well, hopefully I don't know what should become of the twins.
that'll be
now.
her next claim is that she got impregnated
Where
by
are
a
the
prison guard.
babies?
They should remain ethereal, I think.
Where are the babies? Reality Steve and I are still looking for the babies, guys. Investigation continues.
What was that minimal fetal DNA or whatever it was, wasn't it?
Little to no
RG
fetal
says,
DNA.
Name is pronounced as Raquel. I was Rach without the EL.
Yeah,
Rachel
it's
without the EL. Rach.
Rach. Oh, Rach G.
Rachel.
Yeah, what are you saying?
It's just it took me a
You're
while to
the
connect
worst
the dots
with
here.
names, I swear.
She's pronouncing it like Rob. By the way, shout out to Hey Rob for being on top of this story so quick today.
No, Rob, who just made his flat debut. How do you guys think he did? I thought he was tremendous.
Great. He was
He
great.
did a really good job. We like Rob.
Hmm.
Rach. It's not rock. I was saying rock, like the rock.
Oh, I see.
Fake Laura Owens says, I don't know why you say my attorney doesn't have criminal experience. Hasn't he been arrested a lot? That is a good point. That's a really good point. He does. He's had a couple run-ins.
Oh, dear.
Maybe in that very county. I don't know. Look him up.
Oh,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. Oh, boy.
Liz Wagner with the 5 says, do you think her sister was questioned regarding the sonogram? Yep.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, I do. And I don't think that she was willing to lie about it.
Well, not just the sonogram, but the video of the dad touching
Right.
the pregnant belly, because I believe that was her. So,
But the one thing is she's out of state, so she would have to be willing to give that information to them because the likelihood of them being able to enforce an out-of-state subpoena is very low.
Well, I don't know percentages, but Laura Owens, the fake Laura Owens says that it's time for the first annual Mommy and Me retreat to Jamaica.
But they're going
Maybe.
to be monitoring her travel, her horse competitions, all this stuff.
Mm.
She can't really leave the States. When
she's
you're,
gonna have to petition to leave.
Yeah. So we will see with her. It's a whole different world for her right now.
Maybe she can build one of those big wooden horses and crawl up inside it, and they can push
Ace
her
Ventura?
into Mexico or Canada or something in one of those.
A Trojan horse to Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin
Whatever.
for Payson
Tijuana, whatever you
says,
like.
late but curious, how long can she be locked up for? 33 years.
33 and a half is maximum aggravated. Like they throw the book at her and then some.
Yeah,
that's
we
not
think.
likely.
I earlier I was stating that I think if I was her defense attorney, I would go for some kind of suspended sentence or some kind of a work release or a home monitoring for a couple of years just to keep her out of jail. I don't think that would be maybe realistic in this case. I think that the DA is going to offer her 5 years in state prison, plead to count 1, dismiss all other charges, and queen for a day.
Omar, this could be your first chance for an American citizen to go to CCOT.
You never know. You never know. I guess this would be Trump's first one. If he's on that kind of kick, we'll see. I got more here. I have Karen Cars 10 says she will be turning over her passport and her real ID. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Life is just a little bit more uncomfortable for her right now. So here we are. Schnitzel, you've been on this case for a long time. How do you feel right now?
I am excited to see what comes after this. The documentary that's in progress. They're being updated every day. They have pitched. They are emailing with big companies. It's on track to be a thing. This criminal case, I am excited to see her in a position where she can't do this fucking bullshit to anybody else. That's what I'm looking forward to that, because no one deserves to have this person and this kind of abuse in their life.
Yeah. Does it feel anticlimactic at all now that we're finally here with felony
I
indictment?
fucking climaxed today. Come on.
No. Okay. So the opposite of anticlimactic. It was all the climax.
I feel like it's a new it's the next chapter. I don't feel like I feel like it's like there's still so much work to be done from here on out.
Yeah.
It's changed, but there are still things to do. So I'm looking forward to moving forward and working on what's coming next.
Well, it's a completely different feeling when, see, in family court, you always have like this protection that you might be telling the truth, and like she was presenting herself as this victim. And even in the face of getting destroyed at trial, it was always, well, it was unfair and the judge was biased and this and that. No more with any of that. We're done with all of that shit. Now she has these 7 felony counts. They're looking at her like she's a criminal. She's no longer able to play the victim card. There's no longer any of those arguments. It's strictly like, look, this is what we can prove that you've done. Are we going to go to a trial for it or not? Or are you going to, how long do you want to go to jail, miss?
Can we
That's
just
going to be the
talk about
conversation.
what they may or may not have found on her handful of devices?
Yeah.
Oh
What do you
gosh.
think? What do you think?
I mean,
to answer Karen's question, she said, could this help get the TPOs against the guy's drops? I answered that earlier. The answer to that was not directly, but maybe indirectly. Now's a really good time to attack her in an evidentiary hearing because she has a pending criminal case. She can't talk about it anymore. Fifth Amendment stuff that they don't give a shit about in family court. And so it wouldn't be in her best interest to try to go start renewing things and get herself in an evidentiary hearing where she could get in a lot more trouble. I'll just say that.
The interesting thing about that would be Greg has has a window that started in December for contesting the renewal of the protective order, which would require her to present the facts to fully allege the complaint in front of the judge. And if she goes into this hearing and says, well, I can't talk because I'm criminally, then wouldn't that allow the protective order to be removed because she couldn't fully plead the case? Yeah,
no, it couldn't. If she loses in an evidentiary hearing, then it will have that effect. They will dismiss the order against her.
It seems like it's definitely a big help for Greg.
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't think that there's a world if she was planning on renewing against Maricini. I don't think that it makes sense for her to try to do that anymore.
I was going to say she would be so dumb to fucking try that right now.
Yeah, because if that's the case.
That's up July 10th. Mm-hmm. And I don't know in California, I'm sure you'll know, what's the process for renewing something like that? Like, what does she renew it that day? Does she, how does that happen?
Well, she has to file a motion before the restraining order expires and give notice to the other side that she's going for this renewal and state all of her reasons why. And then he would be entitled to file a response and ask for an evidentiary hearing to litigate it all. And then when he does that, she's now subject to an evidentiary hearing where she's going to have to testify to the veracity of certain statements. And because Maricini was never involved in a hearing on the merits of the original order, they would go all the way back to her original filing. And if she perjured herself in that stuff, it may open her up to additional charges. Maricopa County's already looking at her as if she's perjured herself. And so if I guarantee you, if they have an evidentiary hearing with Maricini and they get to go into the original order because it wasn't heard on its merits and her claims about why she needs a new order or a renewal of that order, it's just opening her up to all of this extra stuff where she can't really defend herself because she has a pending criminal case, and the DA is going to be all over those transcripts. They might even send a runner there just to listen and observe and see. And they'd probably be asking Maricini things and people that are close to that case and relevant to that case. Maybe they talk to former attorneys and gauge what they know. And it winds up with them amending this criminal complaint with additional felony charges of other things. Maybe.
Do they have to go back to a grand jury to add additional counts if they feel it's warranted?
Yeah, but they will. they'll just amend the complaint, and that they would have to go back in front of the grand jury and do that. Yeah, every additional charge would have to be brought under probable cause, and so yes to that. Cat Lady Ballerina says, "What do you think Josh, attorney for IAHNOOP, is thinking right now?" Who is Josh?
Josh Lopez was her attorney for the during the IAH and OOP hearings with Clayton.
Is he the guy that offered the male culpa? He's like, I didn't know she was going to say any of that shit, man. I didn't know she was a liar. Was he that guy?
No, that was Corey Keith.
That's Corey Keith for the paternity case before Gingras. Yeah. This was different actions. The IAH and OOP are separate from the paternity case.
Rach says, is there anything the Clayton can potentially do to reverse?
So she still has a order of protection.
No, because right? Clayton's OOP was a little different. His was after a hearing on the merits, an evidentiary hearing. Mm-hmm. And it was based on conduct, if I remember correctly, it was based on conduct that was occurring online that had nothing to do with all of this other stuff. And so it's kind of a technicality that Eckerd's OOP was granted. It was strictly because Judge Judy doesn't know how the internet works.
Well,
that's my takeaway from it.
Aren't the actions during that hearing mentioned in these counts?
Yeah, but he didn't base the OOP on those actions. He based it on Eckerd's actions online, if I remember correct. If I'm wrong,
yeah, because he thought that Clayton had made the Halloween costume meme that had a picture of the sister ultrasound that we now know was not her ultrasound, that she said was her ultrasound. We also know who made the meme, and it wasn't Clayton. So the entire basis for Duty ordering the OOP was based on fraud, which presumably, if they have all these devices, that's an interesting thing they could look into. The thing I think is most interesting about having all these devices is if they can truly prove that she was Chase J. Jones. Chase J. Jones sent motion to quash subpoenas in the Dave Neal harassment case in LA court from Seattle, Washington. So if she sent court documents to LA court from a PO box in Seattle from Arizona, pretending to be somebody else, to me, that's federal mail fraud. And I'd like to see charges for that.
That's a possibility. I don't know how far they're going to take it. I guess more importantly, I don't know how far Clayton cares to go for that. You know, he seems pretty relieved. I think he's really just kind of ready to be done with this and move on with life. Based off of his video that we played earlier. What you doing over there, Lauren? How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Sorry, I was just doing something else.
Oh,
doing something else.
Stop touching yourself, Lauren.
Jesus.
What the fuck is wrong with
you? We don't have time for an Excel spreadsheet on that.
Oh, God. You
Fake
probably have
Owens
one.
says, so dumb. Try me. What was the so dumb part? I forgot.
Oh, who knows?
I don't know. Well, somebody's tried. I don't know.
I probably the Medium article. I think she's just saying, like, if we thought she couldn't do anything more ill-advised, she might.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Sunshine with the 10 says, hit the thumbs up if this should be a sign to the LOs, the Blakes, the Ambers of the world. When you F around, you will eventually find out if people like this community stay the course to expose you. Because like Bruce said, facts, not fuckery. You said that, right? Or that was
Emily D. Baker's line. I can't take credit for that.
Yes, it is an eventful day for sure. So with that, I guess, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here with all
from Evita, right? Is that from Evita? No, wait, what's that?
Evita, isn't that with Madonna?
From here.
Where do we go now? Guns N' Roses.
Oh.
There it is.
I don't totally.
I don't know these things.
Yeah, you do, Brad. Every Midwesterner, every Midwesterner knows Guns N' Roses.
I mean, yes, I've heard of them, but they are not a part of my daily listening.
They're not on your all right.
Brad, sweet summer child.
November rain. You need some November rain in your life.
I think the next steps here are to follow the criminal docket. Now that we know that we're going to go back to Maricopa County's court website to check for updates. I'm sure we're going to have runners going to Maricopa County for any public documents that'll be coming out.
I'll tell you what. I think that this is my take on where this is going. This case is going to feel so different than how it's felt. Gingerbread would be a fool to try to comment on this stuff. He should honestly just stay out of it at this point. It is kind of above his pay grade right now.
So you think he's going to comment?
If he comments, he'd be honestly,
So
he couldn't be any better.
In this case, I don't pity the fool.
I mean, hey, do what you got to do, man. But what if they start looking into him about suborning perjury?
Yeah,
I mean, after all,
like with the devices too, like there's attorney-client privilege. So I wonder how they handle that, because I know there's certain things like they can't pull from the devices. But also, if he is encouraging her to lie or encouraging her to file for bankruptcy or encouraging her to move assets under her mom's name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, how can they use that?
I mean, not for suborning perjury. I'm just saying that this criminal case, these perjury counts were directly as a result of his client perjuring herself. So if they start looking into him and then she starts going up there stating stuff that was demonstrably false, and he, being her attorney, should have known about it, and he let her get up on the stand and say those things, perjuring herself, and was aware that it was perjury at the time, then he would be found liable of suborning perjury. Is he going to be brought up in charges in that? Not likely, but he's definitely losing a license over that. If that's what happens, like that's kind of like the line.
Yeah.
Like if my client tells me something and then they try to say the opposite thing on the stand, it's like, well, I can't represent you now that you said that way. So I can't pretend that I didn't just hear that. I just can't. And I won't take a chance because my law license is way too valuable to burn it on like promoting some guy's lie. So I'm an ethical attorney. If I know that my client's full of shit or lying, I will not let them go on the stand and perjure themselves.
What about the whole thing about LA Planned Parenthood versus the other one?
That doesn't feel like an unprepared witness. Well, I mean, she was unprepared, but it doesn't feel like something that Gingerbread knew that she was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the other stuff, they got 4 counts of perjury to the extent that it was demonstrably, provably false in the evidence. And he allows her to go up there and promotes it. And he argued her perjured statements. Then possibly, conceivably, he can be found guilty of suborning perjury.
Yeah.
Loss of law license, maybe criminal charges, extremely unlikely. Extremely unlikely. And matter of fact, it's like 99.9% nothing's going to happen with it.
Is there anything because of this, like if she did a bar complaint? Now, when everybody was doing bar complaints against this guy, what I remember you telling us was what really impacts in a bar complaint is if a lawyer's client files the complaint and it's something like financial, right?
Yeah.
Like they ripped me off or something.
Oh, for sure.
Is there a bar complaint she could do that would have a non-trivial impact here? Or do you think that's another dead end?
I think it might be a dead end now that she's been brought up on criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to take her as serious. Like, now I'm going to try to throw my attorney under the bus because I perjured myself and was found guilty in a criminal court in Maricopa County. So less likely they're going to take her serious. But I don't know. Back then, I was thinking in terms of ineffective assistance of counsel and leading her down this road or whatever. And I forgot what I was saying at the time. But it makes less sense now that all this has happened, honestly. Because I think that Gingerbread has bigger problems, honestly. And I don't think that you necessarily need Owens to throw him under the bus to face the cavalcade of discipline that he's looking at right now. Potentially, if people wanted to go after him. And I don't know, I have no indication that that's going to happen. I just suspect that I haven't heard any updates on the bar complaints. I don't know if they've been closed. I don't know if they're still pending. I'd imagine that they are still pending and they're still looking into him.
Oh, his are still pending.
Yeah. So
I mean,
they're
to me,
gonna
the
do
one from
something.
the judge herself was the biggest one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You got judges, you got your colleagues, you got people from the general public.
Mike Maricini.
All at the same time.
There's a lot of them.
Going to the bar saying that this guy is doing stuff, it's going to get, he has their attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he had these plans. He wanted to move to Europe or whatever. He might have a chance because who knows? Who knows? Who knows with that guy?
I think it would be smart for him to do that.
Yeah.
My legal advice, Gingerbread.
Why not, man? They got different sensibilities over there. And he could convince them like he's like this big American attorney and he's like retired. And look, I was on Dr. Phil once and I had this high profile case.
Dr. fucking Phil. Oh, my God.
I sat there and said nothing.
And I have
It looked pretty.
Oh, I mean, well, just don't dig too far into that guy. You might run into something.
What if
you guys see the News 12 article?
Is there an article yet?
Yep.
Is it in the private chat?
Bring that up
right now.
Oh, here we go. Let's read this article. Uh-oh. I have to disable my ad blocker.
Oh my.
MG as well.
Refresh. Here we go. Let me share this with you guys, and I'm going to read this, and then we shall do it. All right. So, Maricopa County Attorney's Office announced Tuesday that a grand jury has indicted a woman who a judge said falsely accused a former star of The Bachelor of getting her pregnant with twins. Laura Owens sought a paternity case against Scottsdale resident and former Bachelor star Clayton Echard in July of 2024. Echard categorically denied the allegations, stated the two never had sexual intercourse. Owens later claimed she had a miscarriage, but a family court judge ruled her claim was false and referred Owens' actions to the county attorney's office for review. Maricopa County's attorney's office investigator, said Owens altered an ultrasound image, fabricated a pregnancy video, lied multiple times under oath about the pregnancy. She's been charged with 1 count of fraudulent schemes, 1 count of forgery, 4 counts of perjury, 1 count of tampering with physical evidence. Judge Julie Mata was the family court judge who presided over the hearings regarding the original paternity claim. Mata issued an unprecedented 19-page ruling after the case, determining Owens knowingly presented a false claim. She also wrote that Owens has a pattern of similar, if not identical, behavior. Echard previously told 12 News he has gotten to know some of the other men Owens has allegedly accused of impregnating her. I think that's the end of the article.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I love this for her. I have a question. Is she showing up to Barry's boot camp tomorrow morning?
Oh boy.
Hope she don't run into Layla.
What is
Well, it's happened. It's happened multiple times.
I know.
Oh, Gingras rhymes with "wing it fast," which is also how he preps for court. Does it rhyme? Wait. Does Gingras and "wing it fast" rhyme?
It does today.
No.
It does today. It does today.
Close enough.
For our purposes, it does today. Caboyo B with the 20 says, as a criminal investigator for 30 plus years, I have no doubt they served a search warrant on her home and have all of her devices. Hopefully the affidavit and search warrant return will be available now that she's been charged. Yeah, I have no doubts.
It hasn't been posted yet.
So let's talk about what they might have. All of her electronic devices. I got to imagine they cell brighted her phone. Have to imagine that.
So right, the phone. I believe that she used an iMac to do any edits to previous documents. So if they were able to get that, that would have been inside of the family home, not inside of Owens's residence.
They they have access to pictures, movies on her phone that
Text
she may have tried
messages,
to delete.
conversations.
Yeah. They have, they probably sent investigators to have conversations with people that she was in a dating relationship around those dates because it turned out to be an individual charge that she lied to Judge Duty. That's going to be a thing. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities.
I think the communications between her and her mother are going to be very interesting because if they can show that her and her mother in those communications, she knew that she was trying to scheme and defraud Clayton through this whole thing, and that by telling it to her mother, that's I would be shocked if her mother doesn't come up on some kind of conspiracy charge.
I don't think they're going to go after her mom. I just don't. I don't feel like they will. But, what they won't get is they're not going to get any communications between her and Gingras, which who knows what's going to be contained in those. I mean, they're not, they're privileged.
I mean, she probably sent him one of those, fake belly photos, and he replied, "Beautiful."
Okay, at what extent could it's one thing to believe your client, but when it's so provably false, I don't know, man. I don't want to try to make that argument.
I think he knew she was lying, and he was just trying to get somewhat famous from this case.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it seems that way because at every opportunity, he's tried to blow this case up way bigger than it needed to be. Mm-hmm. Arguably, if this was a normal run-of-the-mill case that didn't have any publicity or didn't have any of this stuff or didn't have a crazy-ass attorney like Gingerbread, this would never have been referred to the Maricopa County Prosecutor's Office. It just wouldn't have.
So he did his job.
Presumably he did. Fake Laura Owens says, Gingras, more like Grift Gris. Every case ends in Marty fraud and fake bellies and fake blowjobs. And I don't know. Just Ricardo says, MCDAO plus high profile case. What is this? MCDAO.
Maricopa County District Attorney's Office.
High profile case, all their attention effed. Totally. Rebecca 2 says, how are the burritos in prison? They're not very good. There's this guy that has these TikTok recipes, and he'll crush up hot Cheetos and soak it in hot water, and then he'll put all this crazy.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
prison nachos.
Prison,
yeah,
prison nachos or prison burritos is just. Hey, they say it's delicious. My dad telling me it's delicious.
It's fine.
Well,
when you're hungry, you'll eat a lot of things you normally wouldn't.
That's what they say. That is what they say. Fake Laura Owens says his legal briefs are like his ethics, paper thin and full of holes.
Oh dear.
Do you think there's a possibility they could assign a taint team to look at
team?
Yes, it is a thing called a taint team.
I did a double take myself. What are we talking about here?
For Laura and Gingras' communications.
My taint team.
Oh. By the way, Rach says the only real thing was the blowy. By the way, that's gonna be the worst blowjob that anybody's ever received in history.
First one or the second one?
But Brad, what does the taint team do? What's it going to do?
So a taint team is basically non-affiliated lawyers looking at evidence to determine whether or not it becomes in scope for whether or not the prosecution should be able to look at it. And the idea would be if they have reason to try and penetrate the privilege between Laura and Gingras by having this taint team look at the evidence to try and determine whether or not it's applicable for what they're trying to charge with, then that would be possible. But it's something that has to be authorized by the court to enable them to do. And two, you have to have really good reason for them to try and go in and find that.
I could barely get through what you said because Schnitzel was snickering.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't help it. I just am that kind of person.
Penetrating the taint is a little much for a Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon, no less.
It's not even flat.
That would hurt to penetrate the taint.
Well, it depends on who you ask, I suppose.
That's why it's.
I'm using the legal terminology, guys. Come on.
Is it spelled the same way, Brad?
Yes, because it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Oh, Lauren said she mentioned something about. There was I didn't know there was 2 blowjobs. I thought there was only one.
Yes, there was 2 in 5 hours.
I forget the facts. I know.
I try to forget.
Wait, so there was a one. When were they in rapid succession?
Kind of.
Yeah, it was one happened at maybe early on in the night, and the other one later.
So it was really kind of just blended into the other.
Yeah.
Either way, man,
it's separated by significant.
You take a short nap after the first one, then get up for round 2.
Exactly.
All right, so it was round 1, round 2.
Not
Either
back
way,
to back BJ's.
never in history has there been a worse blowjob. Well, I can't even. That's not even an accurate statement. I'm just saying that it was a pretty bad one. because look what all it led to. You just never know the funny things that the universe is going to grow out of your sexual mishaps. R.I.P. Clayton Records.
Oh,
Clayton
boy.
Records.
Well,
Sexual history.
her legal judgments are approaching 200K, so that's 100K per fake twin. Those are some expensive fake twins.
Oh, little to no fetal DNA and all of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. All right, folks, I got to go, man. I love all the. Oh, we got one more super chat. Salty Veruca.
Veruca.
Dude.
Oh, what is her name in Willy Wonka?
That is
Veruca.
Veruca Salt.
Veruca Salt. That's what it was.
It's a pun.
Yeah. It says, cheers to you all for your hard work seeing this through. Cheers. Cheers to you folks. And cheers for hanging out with us this impromptu live stream for an hour and 40 minutes. It all just came together just so quick. Like I was texting Lauren, and then she was like cursing at me, and then Schnitzel's like, "Wait, I don't know, I got them things." And then Brad's like, "Could I play too?" I was like, "Yeah, come on in." And then Moose was like, "Link me." Yes, sir. Here it is.
Well, I was about to set up a live stream for my channel, and I saw you were live, so it's like, well, that's even better.
Oh, I was about to leave. I was telling Schnitzel, like, you know what? I'm going to go live like at 9. Fuck it, let's do it now.
It was like 9 PST. No.
No, I know. This one is a special one. This one could not wait, and so here we are.
Although Petitioner is not special.
Accurate.
Totally.
Maybe it is time for that game of JFC Jeopardy.
I know. Right?
Oh, what's JFC Jeopardy?
Oh, that's right. Bruce made that, didn't he?
I have a Jeopardy board of trivia about the case.
Oh, you guys have smoked me on that game.
Yeah, let's play.
You have to be way up on the trivia.
Should we do a round of JFC Jeopardy?
That thing will take a long time. It'll take.
I choose blowjobs for 500, Alex.
It needs its own night.
Bruce.
I'm going back on
It'll take a while. Wait, what?
Ultrasounds for 200?
Making fun of Omar calling y'all just
Bruce, Brad, Laura,
we don't know
Lauren.
who we are. It's fine.
Oh, I don't know. My brain is just defective. I don't know what to say. I confused birthdays. My own daughter, it's either May 10th or May 6th, depending on when you ask me. Because she was born in 2006. And so just my brain is, sometimes it's just broken. I don't know. Anyway, folks, did y'all know that it's the, well, nothing. I will, we should end the stream right now.
Yeah.
How about that? I love you guys. I hope to see you all soon. If any of y'all are going to be streaming later at night, hit me up. I'll be down to do whatever.
In the taint.
Oh no.
Maybe.
That got weird.
Assemble the taint team.
Hey, wait. Taint has 5 letters. TAINT.
Oh
We
boy,
are
here
taint.
we are. Could be.
Oh no.
I get to be one of the T's. TAIN.
Oh boy.
Oh, me and Brad are the T's. And so that would make AIN.
Lauren's the lone vowel. Oh no, you guys are vowels.
Seems fine.
Lauren is disgusted by our conversations. She's making faces over there.
It's just not my taste. Literally.
The A is Brad. The A is Bruce.
That's right.
Oh my.
Oh, MG Law is in the chat. What's
All
up,
about
MG?
the A.
All about the A. All about the T's.
Tony Robbins and A.
Maybe for you.
Boy. Salty Veruca was a bad egg.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. Love you all. I got to get out of here, man.
All right,
You guys take care.
Thanks,
Bye,
Omar.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.